As DJs, we now have some amazing tools at our fingertips, but the chances are you're just not making the most of them. I'm talking about features that can help you remix on the fly, create unbelievable transitions, and keep the crowd hype all night long. Let's go. The first performance feature you're probably not using or making the most out of is key shift. Key shift can allow us to go up and down in scale just like on a piano. Now I'm using a Flex 10 here, which has a lot of features, but I'm using features that will be inside of your DJ software. So if you don't have access to it on your controller, go inside of Recordbox or Serato, whatever software you're using, and under here, Hot Cue, and you can go to key shift, and this will allow you to go up and down in a scale. So what I've got here, I'm going to transition between two house tracks. And what I've got is I've got a loop set, and it's just on some keys of a riff. If I open up key shift, I can go up the scale. Sounds a bit strange on its own, and you probably wouldn't use it like that. But what you can do is you can start to create your own remixes on the fly using this technique. So I've got this track playing. Let's say we're transitioning. So as we're transitioning out of this track, what we'll do is we'll hit our active loop. And then, if I open up key shift, go up 2 semitones, you start to get this almost like a remix on the fly. You can add effects to that if you want. So now we can start to think about transitioning into another track. I've just loaded in Clooney, Still My Baby, and I've got a hot cue set up. This blue hot cue is where the drums and the bass begin. What we're going to do is we're going to live remix, and then on the one beat, we're going to introduce this track and keep going with our new pattern. So as we're playing,
I like to party.
1, 2, 3, 4. So we've got our riff going. We're going to open up our key shift. One, two, three, four. And then we can use the echo out just to transition very simply over. So you can see there it's a really interesting technique to use, and it will really catch the audience off guard. They won't see the live remix coming, and you can really experiment with other tracks as well. If you find that you're playing a track that's got a little isolated instrumental, or it's got some keys or a breakdown of some sort, you can open up your key shift and start to think about how you can use that to transition. And this is how it sounds when you put it all together.
I like to party.
drives me crazy. Man, she's still my baby.
The next feature you're probably not using is the sampler. The sampler is an amazing feature where you can load vocal loops, stabs, horns, effects, crashes, drum loops, and really start to experiment with DJing and live remixing. In your sampler, you might have simple things if you're an open format DJ. I've got a glass crash, you've got horns. But I also like to experiment with vocal loops as well. So I've got this.
If it's your birthday, put your hands up. If it's your birthday, put your hands up. If it's your birthday, put your hands up.
It's just a loop of it's your birthday, put your hands up, and it will loop and loop and loop. And you can actually use this in a DJ set. You can use it to transition, and I'll show you a couple of ideas on how you can use it best. First of all, just open up your sampler. In Rekordbox, if you just click on this icon at the top here, it will open up 8 windows, and it is literally just drag and drop. So if you've got some samples, it's literally just pick them up, drop them in here. What you need to know about is a few of the features. So if I go to edit on this birthday acapella loop, you can see here it's got a bunch of different buttons inside it. So if I just turn these off, so we've got different triggers. So this first one means every time I press that, every time I press the sample, it will trigger from the beginning. Now, the problem with that is if we've got a loop, it will just continue looping and you can't really exit it unless you go onto the sample and press this button here. So it can be a bit annoying. It's fine if you've got, let's say, this glass crash and I press it, or this horn, sorry. If I press the horn, it will come to a natural ending, so I don't need to worry about that. But if you've got a loop and this trigger is pressed, it will continuously play until the loop's ended, which can be a long time. If you press this third icon here, it will allow you to play the sample as you're holding it. So that will give you a bit more control, but obviously you need to be in time with the music. So as soon as you press this icon, it will allow you to sync to the master tempo. And if you press this MT, that stands for master tempo, it will remain in the same key as well when it's pitched up. So it's all about having the grid correctly. So as long as your grid is set correct, it will be able to follow along with the exact sync. So if I'm playing a drum loop, so you'll see it'll stay in time with a house beat. Even though this is 100 BPM, it will match the tempo when this sync is turned on. Now, depending on what controller you have, you might have functions to be able to manipulate it even further. So on this Flex 10, for example, I've got SP, which will basically control the sampler, and I've got the volumes as well. So I can turn it up and down here, and then I can add, echoes. And I can use it as basically like a different channel, like an extra channel. So how can you use this in a DJ set? Well, there's a few ways. So if this track is playing,
I like to party.
we can open up the sampler.
If it's your birthday, put your hands up.
We can play around with that way. We can go over the beat.
If it's your birthday, put your hands up. If it's your birthday, put your hands up.
We can use the echo with it.
If it's your birthday, put your hands up. If it's your birthday, put your hands up. If it's your birthday, put your hands up. If it's your birthday, put your hands up.
So you can start to get as creative as you like with it because it's always in time, as long as your beat grids are correct. Now let's transition to a different track. And we can keep that going.
If it's your birthday, put your hands up. If it's your birthday, put your hands up. If it's your birthday, put your hands up.
So we can do it like that. We can be triggering that loop. You can have it on a loop set as well if you're not comfortable sort of pressing on the one. I could just have this set as a loop. So if I go to this trigger here.
If it's your birthday, put your hands up. If it's your birthday, put your hands up. If it's your birthday,
So if my track's playing,
I like to party.
so that loop is just playing over and over again. Can start to mix in. So you can see how effective it is using a sampler. You can get so creative with it. I love putting drum loops in there, vocal loops. Make sure your beat grids are set if you're going to use this type of technique, but make sure that you're using the sampler in your DJ sets to get more creative.
I like to party.
If it's your birthday, put your hands up.
If you are enjoying these DJ transitions, I've left a free lesson to our Transitions DJ course, or you can go to wearecrossfader.co.uk, check out everything we have to offer, including our transitions course, if this is your kind of thing. The next feature you're probably not using is the keyboard mode, and we've talked about pitch shift in the house loop. This is very similar, except we're literally allowed to play notes like keys in this example. Before we were just sort of shifting between two different tones. In this transition, we're going to be transitioning between two hip hop tracks. Now, I was listening to this track by Lato, and it had a really distinct pattern in it. And then I started thinking about what songs sound like that. I landed on this, Nicki Minaj Only. So obviously the tempos are very different, but I thought the music and the sound that this is making of the instrument is very similar. But how do we get from here to here? What we're going to do is we're going to use keyboard mode. So what I've done is I found a section of the track, which is just a tone. Then what we can do is, if I do on this Flex 10, shift and open up keyboard mode, now I can play. I can go up, and go down and up. If I go up. So it literally sort of creates a piano scale for you. Now this technique, if you are musically inclined, you're musically trained, you might pick this up quicker than others. Others, like myself, it'll take a bit of time to figure out what the pattern is. And it's not always about getting it 100% the right keys. It's about making sure that it makes sense to the audience. So this riff here, I'm trying to figure out how to play that on this key, on these keys. So we've got this tone, and it's about just experimenting. So if I'm just going through and experimenting, I'm going do 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 do. And eventually you'll land on something which sounds similar. For me, that'll work. So we've got our notes. Then you need to build up some muscle memory using it. What I like to do is I just like to take some drums. So I've just used stems to isolate the drums. Play the drums and then play the riff. So once you've built up that memory in your mind, we can then start to take it a step further and think about, okay, in a live environment, how would I actually do this live without messing everything up? Now, it takes a bit of practice, of course, but what we'll do is we'll play this track as if it's playing normally from the chorus.
Boss niggas only. Thick bitches only. I got my real niggas.
What I'm going to do is start the track again from the intro.
only.
So we're playing that. I'm opening up keyboard mode. I'm going to stop the track. And then I'm going to start to play the notes. That would be what I would call the easier version of the two. So playing the riff and just dropping into the tune. You will get a great reaction if you can nail it. What we'll do is we'll take it a step further and we'll sort of mix in the track using stems. So I'm going to take off the vocal and the drums so that when we're at the beginning of the track here, we open up our key shift. So we're playing with the beat. We need to turn stems off.
When a real one holds you down, babe, you supposed to drown.
That would be another layer up. So there's another level of skill added in
Me and no shark.
because essentially you're playing the keys or align with the beat. But either one would work, whatever is of your ability to get to. But all it takes is practice and preparation. And what's great about this is now you've got the keys. There's probably some, if you play a lot of hip hop, for example, you'll probably start to recognize some other riffs from other songs if you just start playing along with these keys, and then eventually you'll start to think about different tones that can be used. Let's see what it sounds like in practice.
Rich niggas only. Independent bitches only. Boss niggas only. Thick bitches only. I got my real niggas here by my side. Only.
When a real one holds you down, babe, you supposed to drown. You ain't never fuck with no boss, bitch. I turned you out. You won't catch me in no shark boots. I burnt them out. Bitch, you gotta wait till their birthday to go work. Broke it. Yeah, I talk a lot of shit. He like who you think you is. Nigga, not your bitch. Broke it. Nigga, not your hoe.
Let me know what your favorite performance feature we used today was, and if there's performance features on your controller or in your software that you'd like us to give you some ideas on utilizing better, please let us know in the comments. And if you want some more transition ideas, make sure to watch this video right here.